Mangrove Alliance for the Climate Change. So why this was in the news, you can see what is the Mangrove Alliance for the Climate and which India joined at the COP27. Recently in the COP27, India joined an alliance. So this is about the news. What is the Mangrove Alliance? And the India joined this alliance in the COP27, which held at the Egypt. So we can see what is the important we need to know about this alliance. Number one, what is the MAC? What is the Mangrove Alliance for Climate? Second, is there any guidelines for the country, specific guidelines, or this alliance is on the voluntary basis? Number of countries joined this alliance. The number of countries joined the MAC alliance. The number of countries joined this alliance. And how this is important for the exam perspective. What is the Mangrove Alliance for Climates? We also discuss about the mangroves. Area in the India where the mangroves can be found, like the Sundarbans regions, and the significance of the mangrove in the climate change, how the mangroves play a crucial role in the climate change. So we will look into it. So this is about the Mangrove Alliance of Climates, mangrove global warming, Sundarbans, and the significance of the mangroves. So why this was done in news recently during the COP27 in the climate summit in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. Recently, COP27 was held in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, and where the Indonesia and the UAE announced for the MAC, Mangrove Alliance for the Climate Change, in the COP27, which was held in the Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. The UAE and the Indonesia announced for the MAC, the Mangrove Alliance for the Climate Change. Which other country are the part of the MAC? Like the India, Sri Lanka, UAE, Indonesia, Spain, and Australia. These 7 countries are the part of the MAC. And what is the complete focus of the MAC? The complete focus of the MAC is on like how the mangrove can play an important role in the climate change. So this is about how the mangrove can play an important role in the climate change. So first of all, we will see what is the MAC exactly. First of all, we will see what is the MAC. So MAC, the members of the MAC are the UAE, Indonesia, India, Sri Lanka, and the Japan and the Spain. What is the main objective of this MAC? It seeks to educate and spread awareness worldwide on the role of mangrove curbing the global warming. So means this alliance is mainly related to how the mangrove can help in curbing the global warming. So this is the main objective of the MAC. And this is an intergovernmental alliance which is not binding on any country. Means this is a voluntary alliance. So what statement can be asked in the paper? It's a voluntary alliance or it's a binding treaty within the countries. It is not a binding treaty. It is a voluntary alliance by these 7 countries. The countries are UAE, Indonesia, India, Sri Lanka, Australia, Japan, and the Spain. So these are the main countries. Here, the intergovernmental alliance is a voluntary basis alliance. So we can see next, it's a voluntary basis alliance. Means there is no check and balance. If any country is taking the steps to protect the mangrove or not, there is no checks and balances. It's completely on the country. They want to protect the mangrove for the global climate change or not. So instead of party will decide, there is no commitment decided by the party, like in the COP15, a Paris climate deal. There was an INDC signed by the different countries. We will do this much amount of work so that we can stop a temperature rising to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Whereas in this alliance, there is no guidelines. There is no target fixed by any country. This is completely voluntarily basis. No country has any commitment to do these things. One other major point, the members country will also share the technology, how they can protect the mangroves, which can help in the climate change. They will share the technology. These 7 countries, UAE, Indonesia, India, Sri Lanka, Australia, Japan, and Spain. These will share technology with each other. So comprehensively, they can protect the mangroves in the country. So this is the alliance all about. Now, this is about the news, what is the alliance, but now we will come to the basics. What is the exactly mangroves? Mangroves hote kya hai? Where it is located? What is the features of the mangroves? What is the significance of the mangroves? So mangroves are the shrubs mainly found in the coastal area. Where the saline water and the fresh water meet up, they are found in the marine area where the saline waters and the fresh water meet up. Mostly grown area of the mangrove in India is the coastal area. The coastal states in India are mainly the mangrove grown area. So what are the main features of the mangrove here? they can grow in the saline environments, means they are saline protected, can be grown in the salty waters. They can survive even in the low oxygen. If the content of oxygen is very low in the water, they can survive. Third, they can like survival in the extreme condition. If there is a high temperature up to like the 35 degree, 40 degrees Celsius, even there is a low temperature, they can easily survive. Other the viviparous. Viviparous means there are the three terms we can use: oviparous, viviparous, and the ovoviviparous. Oviparous is which these are the organisms which laying eggs, and the viviparous which are laying giving the birth to the young ones. If any mangrove is attached to the tree, they can grow themselves. So this is come under the category of the viviparous. They are directly give birth to the young ones. Means the plant can be grown if it is attached to the plants. The seed germination is directly with the plants. So these are the main features, means they can tolerate the extreme climate changes, as well as they can grow in the saline environment, as well as they can like grow in the high temperature or even in the low temperature. Now we will come to the what is the significance of these mangrove plants. सबसे पहले तो in the food chain they are like a main source for the food chain, and they in a marine food chain they play a very important role. If we can see, they provide the organic materials and the chemical elements and important nutrients in the coastal system. The mangroves provide the organic materials. Means organic materials, these are small materials from the plants which can be used by the different phytoplanktons for the growing in the coastal systems. So these provide the nutrients as the chemical elements and the organic materials in the coastal system. The second is to provide one-to-one basic food chain resources for the marine organism. If you see the marine food chain, it starts from the phytoplanktons, then come to the zooplanktons, then it's come to the fishes. So these are the main crucial elements play a role in the food chain of the marine system. Third is to provide physical habitat and the nursery ground to wide variety of organisms. If you see in the coastal area where the mangrove are located, there are many species can be found in these mangroves. Different types of habitats, different types of species are grown in these areas, in the mangrove area. And during the time of tsunami, during the time of high tide waves, the mangroves play a very important role because they reduce the speed of the wind. They reduce the speed of the wind. So the damage by the high tides, damage by the storms, damage by the cyclone can be reduced by the mangroves. If the mangroves are in a high density range, then they can easily easily can reduce the effect by the wind or by the cyclones or by the storms. So these are the major significance of the mangroves. So what we'll see, सबसे पहले हमने देखा what is the MAC, what is the MAC, what is the MAC, then what are the features of the mangroves, what are the features of the mangrove, and what are the significance of the mangrove in the climate change. So these are the main three things we have been done till now. What is the MAC, mangrove adaptation change, as well as the what is the mangrove significance, and what is the mangrove's role in the environmental change. Now we will come its area in the selected area in India as well as in the world. So if we see in India, these are majorly grown in the this region: West Bengal region, Odisha region, Andhra Pradesh region, Maharashtra, and the Gujarat region. If we see, this is the mainly in the coastal region of the India, mainly in the coastal region of the India, and the specific location in the West Bengal is the Sundarbans region. Sundarbans region has a high density of the mangroves, and it is also has a UNESCO World Heritage Sites for the protection of the mangrove. It also got a UNESCO World Heritage Sites for this Sundarbans region. So these are the regions in the India which are having the mangroves. In India, almost from the southern Asia, in India, there are 45% of the mangroves in India. In complete South Asia, there is a 45% of mangrove is from India only. 45% of the mangrove from the India only. If we see all over the world, in South Asia, there are more than the 85% of mangroves. If we see about the world's the mangrove density in the South Asia, it is almost about the 85%. And from South Asia in India, it is almost about the 45%. So this is the density of the mangroves in India as well in the South Asia. So this is about the locations of the mangrove in the India. The highest grown state is the West Bengal, then the Gujarat. You can see the sequence: West Bengal, Gujarat, Andaman and Nicobar, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, and the Maharashtra. These are the top 6 states. Number 1 is the West Bengal because of the Sundarbans. Second is the Gujarat. Third is the Andaman and Nicobar Island. These are the main 3 areas in India where the mangrove can be grown. These are the high density regions in India of the mangroves. So we will see next topic. What is the major challenge in protection of the mangroves? सबसे पहले तो commercialization. कहीं भी किसी भी चीज का किसी भी species का, even in the national park, even the zoological parks, in the wildlife sanctuary, if we see the area around these are the commercialized, maybe industrialized, maybe commercialized, or maybe transportation के लिए वहां पे रोड बना दिया गया है. तो इसकी वजह से due to the commercialization, due to the increase in the aquaculture at the coastal area, due to the coastal development regions, and due to the palm oil farming in these specific area, तो मैंग्रोव प्रोटेक्शन कम होना शुरू हो गया है, जिसकी वजह से द डिक्रीज द डेंसिटी ऑफ द मैंग्रोव स्टार्ट डिक्रीजिंग इन दिस एरिया, एंड द साल्ट टॉलरेंट ट्री को रिप्लेस कर दिया गया. मींस द मैंग्रोव वैरायटी आर द साल्ट टॉलरेंट वैरायटी, एंड दीज आर स्टार्टेड रिप्लेसिंग ड्यू टू द कमर्शियलाइजेशन ऑफ द कोस्टल एरिया. Then due to the shrimp farming is the mainly the aquatic farming of the like the seafoods farming. Mainly you can say about the any seafood farming in the shrimp, and the shrimp farming is the major reason of decrease in the mangrove density. It's caused decrease over 35%, at least 35% of overall loss of the mangrove forest. It caused overall 35% of the loss in the mangrove forest. So shrimp farming, it's a farming of the aquatic organisms and mainly the marine organisms. So it's causing a 35% of the overall loss in the mangrove forest. So this is the second most region in the area which causing the loss of mangroves. Third is a temperature related issue. If there is a temperature difference is more than the 10 degrees Celsius, if there is a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, then again there is a change in temperature to 40 degrees Celsius. So higher temperature difference is also impacting the growth of the mangroves. Then the soil related issue, the soil porousness and the oxygen availability in the soil is very less, which is affecting the growth of mangroves in this area. Then the human interference, more than the animals. We are on the earth right now. In India specifically, we are on the 140 crores. So excessive human interference in this area, and due to the greediness of the humans, the decrease in the density of the mangroves. So these are the major 5 regions. One is the mangrove forest, is shrimp, the shrimp cultures, the coastal area developments. Third is the temperature related issue. Fourth is the soil related issue, and the fifth is the excessive human interference. What are the initiatives taken by the governments? What are the other initiatives taken by the government to protect these mangroves area? One is the UNESCO designated site. Means if any site is getting the UNESCO status, then its protection is increased. Like in the Sundarbans area, the UNESCO World Heritage status is given to them so that their protection can be increased. So what are the conditions required for the growth of the mangrove can be provided in that area. Second, the International Society for Mangrove Ecosystem. It is a specific society which are focusing on at a different part of the world for the growth of the mangrove. Third is the Blue Carbon Initiative. Blue Carbon Initiative, this is a specific initiative for the conservation and restoration of the marine ecosystem. This is the main initiative for the conservation and restoration of the coastal ecosystem. Then the International Day for the Mangrove is announced by the United Nations on the 26th July. These are the 4 major initiatives. One is the Blue Carbon Initiative, another is the UNESCO World Heritage Site Initiative, and the International Day for the conservation of the mangrove ecosystem. So what we had covered till now, what is the Mangrove Alliance, locations of the mangrove in India, what is the significance of mangrove, what are the threats to mangrove, and the steps taken by the government. These are the 5 topics we covered under the mangrove, but in the news there is only MAC. What is the Mangrove Alliance? If you see the 2022 paper, there was a question on like specific question on the terms like greenwashing, a specific question on the climate change. I don't remember the like a specific term. There was a question like this alliance that was also a line that was directly asked from a newspaper, and all the three statements directly from the newspaper. So it's become important. What is the MAC? What are the members of the MAC? There are 7 members of the MAC, like the India, Sri Lanka, UAE, Spain, Australia. These are the members of the UAE, and this is not a binding agreement. This is not a binding agreement. This is a voluntary agreement. All the members can start initiative toward the growth of the mangroves, and all the members will share the technology with each other. But there is no target fixed, no year fixed by this alliance. No targets fixed by this alliance. And the no year is fixed by this alliance. Like in the Paris climate change, Paris climate deal, we see that there is an INDC signed by different countries. We will achieve this much amount of renewable energy till 2070. We will do this much amount of carbon reduction by 2030. But there is no limits in this alliance. Now, this was a question in the prelims. Which of the in prelims 2015 related to the mangroves? Which one of the following regions of India has a combination of mangrove forest, evergreen forest, and the deciduous forest? So this, you can see the question is asked from the basics itself, but the MSc was in the news this year. So question may be on the MSc or maybe on the basics of the mangroves. So which of the following regions of India has a combination of mangrove forest, evergreen forest, and the deciduous forest? So you need to know the location where all these type of forest is found. Option number 1 is north coastal Andhra Pradesh. Second is the southwest Bengal. Third is the southern Saurashtra, it's a Gujarat region. And D is the Andaman and Nicobar Island. So answer for this question was the D, Andaman and Nicobar Island, because here we are finding all the 3 types of mangroves. So answer will be the D. So similarly, we can see the mains question asked on the mangrove. This is the mains question in 2019, the ask on the mangrove. Discuss the cause of depletion of mangroves and explain their importance in maintaining the coastal ecology. Causes of depletion, we discussed the causes of depletion of the mangroves and the importance in maintaining the coastal ecology, how they are providing the sites for different organisms, what the role is played by in food chains में क्या role play करते हैं, climate change में क्या role play करते हैं, how they reduce the impact of tsunami, cyclone, and the high tide waves. So these are the major importance of 4-5 importance. You can list it out. This was a 10 marker question. So 4-5 dimension on the east you can write, and this is the simply you can write the answer. So this is about the MSc. So mainly the MSc is alliance of the 7 country. UAE and the Indonesia ने announce किया, but other 5 members are India, Sri Lanka, Australia, Spain. These are the other members, which are the complete 7 members, because all the members are present in the COP27, but it is announced by the Indonesia and the UAE, Mangrove Alliance. अभी तो नहीं, it's a simple alliance, there is no headquarter. अभी तक तो इन्होंने decide भी नहीं किया कि what they will do. It's a completely voluntary. There is no target by till कितना % आप करोगे, कितना किया है, क्या targets है, कुछ भी decide नहीं हुआ है. Simply this is a voluntary alliance. Technology will be shared by the different countries so they can protect the mangroves, and there is no deadlines. What you want to do, you can do to protect the mangroves. And for the global environment and the climate change, the protection of the mangrove is very important. So this is the main objective of this alliance.